Introduction. Hello, my name is Heather, and I've been a Las Vegas dealer for 5 years. I've dealt all the games, and I've worked at several different casinos. When you want to be a dealer, the first thing you do is go to dealing school. Before you start learning anything, they ask you, have you ever gambled on the game you want to learn? My answer to this question was no, so I was told to go gamble on a blackjack table and make sure I knew how to play before I came back to learn how to deal. This is a very important step because if you don't know how to play the game first, you will be extremely confused when you are trying to learn how to deal the game. In other words, if you don't know how to play blackjack, stop now. Don't continue until you know how to play the game. It would be even better if you played at a casino once or twice before you started learning how to deal. What is expected of you? When you work as a dealer, you will be expected to follow the correct procedures for all actions on a game. These procedures are made, refined, and perfected through decades of trial and error. Because of this, every casino has variations to the rules, and the casino will change the procedure on you, and you'll have to learn it and apply it right away. To be a good dealer, you'll need to be good at game security, readability, and procedures. Game security. This is one of the most important factors when dealing. Everything you do as a dealer is procedure for the cameras. Because the cameras are watching, all hand signals and actions that the players and dealers do need to be clearly indicated. This is to ensure the players don't cheat, as well as stopping dealers from cheating. Readability. The floor, cameras, and players must be able to see and understand all of the dealer's actions at all times. This calls for readability, cleanliness, and order when dealing cards and paying bets. Each action must be laid out for all to see and read. Procedure. All actions by a dealer require a specific predetermined motion. The dealer must complete certain actions at certain times following a set procedure. Things are not done on the whim by the dealer. These actions have been standardized by casinos to bring a level of protection into the game. It is the most important tool a casino has to maintain the reliability and honesty of the game. What to expect? When you learn how to deal, the first thing you are taught is basic procedure. When you're hired, you'll receive a large packet of procedures that is specific to that casino. You'll need to go home, study this packet, and then practice, so you'll know how to deal when you start work. Every house, which is also a slang term for casino, has different procedures, and when you're auditioning for a job, the managers don't expect you to know the house way. They are looking at your basic dealing skills. Keep in mind that every house will be different when it comes to shuffling procedures, the road map, rubber band, markers, credits, bills, and basic game rules. On top of all that, every floor will have their own expectations and rules for what you're supposed to do. It's a pain, but keep in mind what rules each floor wants you to complete. And even though you think that something should be done a certain way, it doesn't matter, because you must always do as the floor tells you. Don't freak out. You will not get written up on your first day. It is expected that dealers make mistakes, so you will always be given warnings. It is when you don't follow those warnings and keep doing the same action, that's when you'll get written up. Other parts of the job. Because you will be working with money, you will be expected to deal in a neat, clean, readable, and reliable way. This includes verbal calls, which you will notify the floor of what you are doing. You must make these calls. We will go into alert calls more later. Also, you'll be asked to sign many pieces of paperwork. You must check all of the information on that paper because if there's anything wrong, your signature is on there and you will be the one to get in trouble. Usually the paperwork is correct, but there have been plenty of times where it has been wrong. You must not sign your name unless it is fixed. The blackjack table layout. Layout. The layout is the felt covering over the table. It can be any game. In the past, the layout was normally green, but casinos now have an assortment of designs and colors. Under the layout, there is a pad of foam or sponge rubber so that the table will be soft and it is easier to handle the cards and checks. Apron. This is the part of the table that is the closest to the players. It is clearer print and it is where the players store their chips, ashtrays, or drinks. Betting circle. The betting circle is where the players place their bets, and this area is usually marked. The wager must be in the betting area to be a legal wager. Most casinos have 7 betting areas per table so 7 people can play, but you will usually only see 6 chairs. Insurance line. This line is the area that the players use to place their insurance bets. The bet has to be in this area to be a legal insurance wager. Center of the table. This is the area where the dealer shuffles the cards. Rack. The rack is the metal tray in front of the dealer. This is the dealer's bank, and it is where all the checks are held. Discard rack. This is the plastic holder that sits next to the rack on the dealer's right side. This is where the cards go after a hand is finished. The paddle. This is a plastic T-shaped tool used to push money through the hole and into the drop box. Lay the money out flat over the hole and then take the end of the paddle and push it in. Drop box. This is a locked box that sits under the table and catches and holds all of the money that the dealer pushes through with the paddle. The shoe. The shoe is available in the 4-deck, 6-deck, and 8-deck varieties. The shoe is a plastic device that holds the cards until ready for delivery. There are some games, like Baccarat, that may have larger shoes. The face. This is the plate at the front of the shoe that holds the cards in place, making it ready for the dealer. The finger slot. There is an opening in the front of the shoe where the dealer places their finger to slip out the next card. There are a variety of shoes out there. The wedge. This is a heavy plastic trapezoid-shaped object on wheels. It is placed behind the cards to help with movement. The lip. This is the plastic edge under the face that is extended forward. The chain. There will always be a chain attached to the shoe. This is to protect the shoe from being swapped or stolen. The cards. The first skill you need to learn is how to handle the cards. The only way you will get good is by hours of at-home practice. Shuffling the deck. When a dealer shuffles, they will not only riffle, but also strip, box, and cut the deck. Shuffling is the entire procedure that the dealer will spend much time on. Since every casino has a different shuffle, we are going to teach you a basic shuffle you could use at an audition. But when you get hired, you will have to learn a new shuffle. Remember to keep the deck as low as possible and be aware not to expose the bottom card. Holding the deck. Use your forefingers and hold the top of the deck. With your thumbs, hold the bottom of the deck. Slide your middle fingers against the edges of the deck. This makes the deck straight and ready to use. Having the deck. In order to shuffle, you must be able to cut the deck in half. The procedure starts by you holding the deck. Now place your right thumb slightly above the bottom of the deck. Use your left thumb to hold the bottom portion in place as your right thumb slightly lifts up, pulling the deck apart. This is called having the deck. Riffling the deck. Most people think that riffling the deck is the same as shuffling the deck. They are two different things. Riffling is one step in shuffling. Shuffling involves many maneuvers put together in an exact way, while riffling means you're lacing the deck and then pushing it together. Lacing the cards is a term used to describe a deck after a riffle has occurred, but before the cards are pushed in. The people who have been in this industry for a long time will tell you that the quieter you riffle the deck, the better. With your hands flat and thumbs out, combine the tips of your forefingers and thumbs. This should make a letter A. Press your fingers down on the edges of the deck while letting the thumbs do all the work. Place your thumbs at the bottom corners of the deck, and while firmly pressing on the cards, lift up and let the cards fall naturally. After you've gone all the way up, the cards should be laced together and ready to be joined. After you feel comfortable riffling a single deck, slowly add more cards until you're able to riffle a double deck. At most casinos, you will not have to riffle more than 2 decks. Chunking. Chunking is when multiple cards stick together, leaving large spaces in a laced deck. Do not chunk because it prevents the cards from being properly riffled. Stripping the deck. This maneuver is normally added to a shuffle routine. You begin the procedure by holding the deck slightly above the table. Tilt one end very slightly and using your left hand hold the deck while the middle finger and thumb take a chunk of cards from the top of the deck and place it on the table. Raise your right hand up and repeat the process 5 times. Depending on the casino, you could strip a deck a minimum of 3 times to a maximum of 7 times. Boxing the deck. This shuffling maneuver is done in various casinos. You start the procedure by holding the deck and then take 1/3 of the bottom portion and turn it 180 degrees. Then place it on the top of the deck. Cutting the deck. At the end of the shuffle, you will always offer the player the cut card so he can cut the deck. Cut cards are used to cover the bottom of a handheld deck and is also used as a warning to signify that it's time for a shuffle. You must always cut the deck after a shuffle. There is usually 1 cut card on a shoe game and 2 cut cards on a handheld game. The reason why the cards are cut is to prevent someone from cheating by swapping decks. That is why it's important to rotate which players cut the deck. Never stick to one person because this looks suspicious. Make sure to keep your focus and attention on the deck while the player is cutting it. Never allow the players to run the cut card along the edges of the deck. If the cut is unsatisfactory, then the cut card must be removed from the deck and offered again to the player for a recut. If no players want to cut the deck, then the dealer is allowed to cut. First announce, "Dealer's cut," and once you get the approval, you can cut the deck. Offering the cut card on a single or double deck. There are different ways to offer the cut card depending on what game you're at. For a single or double deck, the procedure starts by making sure the decks are squared off. Place the cut card on top of the deck and put your forefinger on top to hold it in place. Extend the deck and cut card towards the player and don't go past the insurance line. The player will grab the cut card and place it anywhere in the deck. Most casinos will tell you to place the cut card between the first 15 cards and the last 15 cards. Bring the deck back to you, holding the deck close to the table, and cut the deck, placing the bottom portion on top so that the cut card is now on the bottom. Offering the cut card on a 4, 6, or 8 deck shoe. You start the procedure when you finish shuffling. Call out rolling and roll the deck. Place the deck against the shoe and hit the edge so you straighten the deck. Then place the cut card on top of the decks and hold it in place with your forefinger. Extend this to the player, but do not go past the insurance line. The player will grab the cut card and cut anywhere between the first deck and a half and last deck and a half. Bring the deck back and place it against the shoe. Bring the top portion back to the bottom portion so that the cut card is now on the bottom. Pick up the second cut card and place it about 1 to 1.5 decks from the bottom. The second cut card is placed there to indicate to the dealer when it is time to shuffle. Putting the deck in the shoe. Take the wedge out of the shoe and with your right hand thumb and middle finger, grip the deck and tilt up. With your left hand, make a flat palm and put it under the deck. Lift up and tilt downward and slide the deck into the shoe. While still holding the cards, put the wedge back in. If you use one hand on the cards, especially new ones, you will find they are slippery and will burst from your hand all over the table and onto the floor. Do not lift the shoe over the cards and do not lift the decks over the shoe. Burning a card. A card must always be burned at the end of a shuffle and when a new dealer arrives at a table. To begin the procedure, take the top card and slide it across the table, placing it in the discard rack. Make sure not to expose this card. If it accidentally flips up and is exposed, then notify the floor. Shuffling. As the dealer, you will shuffle when you have a new customer approach your dead game, when the cut card appears in the middle of dealing, when a new dealer takes over a handheld game, when a new deck is put into play, whenever the floor requests it, and after all the players leave the table. It is good table protection to maintain physical and visual contact with the decks at all times, and while the decks are out of the shoe. Another method to keep people from cheating is to take the remaining deck, pick a random spot in the discard rack, and place the cards in between before you pick up the full deck to shuffle. Now it is time for you to learn a few shuffling procedures. Single deck shuffle. This is a simple shuffling procedure. First, you strip, then riffle, strip, riffle, box, and then riffle. When you cut the deck, make sure to cut it at least 10 cards on either side. Burn a card. Double deck shuffle. To start the procedure, pick up the deck and break it in half. Riffle the cards. Strip the deck 7 equal times. Take 1/3 from the top and put it on the bottom. Riffle. Take 1/3 from the bottom and then put it on the top. Riffle again. Break the deck in half and give it one more riffle. Cut the deck with at least 20 cards on either side and then burn a card. 4, 6, or 8 deck shuffle. To start the procedure, take the cards from the discard rack and put it in the center of the table. Then break it into 2 equal stacks. Take approximately 1/4 of the deck from each stack, then riffle, strip, and riffle. Then place the working deck in the center above the shuffling area. Take approximately 1/4 of the working deck with 1/4 of the deck from the left stack. Riffle, strip, riffle. Then place these cards on top of the working deck. Take 1/4 stack from the right and then riffle, strip, riffle. Repeat this pattern until all the cards are shuffled. When your working stack holds all the decks, separate the stack again into 2 equal parts. Take 1/4 of the deck from each stack and riffle, leaving the cards laced. After all the cards are shuffled, give an alert call to your floor. You can now offer the cards to be cut. Place the deck in the shoe and burn a card. Washing the deck. You will always wash the deck after getting new cards. Take the deck and swirl them in a circle. With your hands open and fingers spread, blend the cards together. This will mix the cards up and stop someone from accusing the house of fixing the deck. Card counting drills. Because the game has to be dealt at a certain speed, you are not allowed the time to sit there and count the cards with your fingers. When the cards come out, you need to know immediately how much you have. That is how these drills are going to help you, by getting your speed up. First, you'll need a deck of cards. Make sure to take all the 10s out of the deck. Then flip over one card at a time, counting until you get the total number. Keep doing this until you go past 21 and bust. When you're at home practicing, don't worry about speed. Take all the time you need to count the cards. Speed will come with practice. Delivering the cards from the shoe. All cards will be dealt from the shoe located on the left-hand side of the table. The procedure for taking the cards out of the shoe starts with you using your first 2 fingers of your left hand to push the cards up a bit and then slide the top card out. As you flip the card up, grip with the middle finger and thumb. With your right hand, grip the cards with your thumb and the side of your forefinger and place it in front of the player's bet. Placement of the cards is important. When placing the second card on top of the first, make sure to place it on the side where the empty white space is. Do not cover the pips. The floor and the camera must always be able to see the center pip. The pip is the dot in the middle of the card that represents the value of that card. There are 2 ways you can place the cards on the table. The first and most common way is when the hands are angled and centered towards the dealer. The second way, and the way I like to use, is when the card edges are parallel to the edge of the table. This makes it easier for the floor and the cameras to see your cards. When dealing from the shoe, you will place the cards face up from left to right. On the first cycle, give the players 1 card, and then give yourself 1 card facing down. On the second cycle, you will give the players their second card. Then slide your card over, and with your right hand, flip over your first card while making sure the second card is not exposed in any way. Make sure to never place the cards on top of the checks. On the first 2 spots on your left, you are allowed to give the players their cards with your left hand because this makes dealing quicker. When sliding the card out of the shoe, grip the bottom of the card with your thumb and flip it over from bottom to top. Delivering the cards from a handheld deck. The procedures for the handheld deck are different than from the shoe. The first thing you need to learn is how to properly hold the deck. For a right-handed dealer, hold the deck in your left hand and vice versa for a left-handed person. Put your forefinger across the top edge of the deck. Use the 3 remaining fingers to hold the deck and make sure that they are tightly together so no one can see the deck underneath. The purpose is to cover the front and edges of the deck. Try not to grip too tightly. Use your palm to push the bottom of the deck up so the deck fits snugly in your hands and the deck will be angled. Place your thumb on the top right corner of the deck and then push out so the card is ready for delivery. When holding the deck, tilt it slightly up so the players can't see the top. Make sure that the deck is not too high or too low and try not to keep it close to your body. Pitching. When you deal a handheld game, you will be asked to pitch the cards. To start the procedure, hold the deck in your dominant hand and look at the palm of your other hand. Put the top corner edge of the card parallel with the top part of your forefinger. With the thumb, grip the right corner of the card and hold it in place. Using your middle finger, flick the card while letting go with your thumb. This should send the card flying. Your wrist should be firm and straight. Do not flick your wrist to deliver the cards. Your fingers should do all the work. When holding the deck and delivering the cards, hold it at the level of your stomach and slightly away from your body. Do not dip the deck when you are delivering the hit card. Do not hold the deck chest high and close to your body. You want to protect the deck at all times. When practicing aim, practice going from left to right since this will best emulate being on a live game. Also, use an object as your target because at the table you will be pitching to the bets and not the people. Tucking the hole card. Some casinos will want you to tuck your hole card, while others will want you to do the simple maneuver. Every house is different, so make sure you know your house rules. The procedure for tucking your hole card starts when you get to your hand. Remember to tuck the hole card underneath the top card as fast and low to the table as possible. Take the top card from the deck and using your thumb, push it out so it is ready for delivery. Put your deck low to the table and close to your card, but try not to cover up the top card because the camera always needs to see them. Put the top right side edge of the card in between the forefinger and the middle finger so that the curve from the tops of the fingers hides the card. Use your left hand to hold the up card in place and press down slightly on the left edge so that the right side is lifted and the whole card can be tucked efficiently. In a fast movement, take the card from the top of the deck and slide it under the up card. Be careful, because if your deck is too far away from the table or if your tuck is too wide, then you will flash your card and show the players. This is bad dealing and you could get fired. The simple procedure for tucking the cards start when you lay a card face down in front of you. Make sure the deck is low and the maneuver is done quick enough that no one can see the card. Then you'll deliver the players their second card. When you get to your hand, you will flip over one card so it is face up. Straighten the cards so you can't see the whole card underneath. The dealer receives a 10 or ace up card. When you have a 10 or an ace up card, then you'll need to check and make sure you do not have a blackjack. There are two different ways of doing this, depending on what casino you're at. If your casino doesn't have a mirror on the table, then you will probably be checking the cards by hand. If the casino does have a mirror on their table, then you will follow this procedure. If you have a 10 up card, then quickly put the lower left-hand corner into the slot area and look at the mirror. If the area is white, you do not have a blackjack. If the area is filled, you do have a blackjack. If you have an ace up card, then you are going to turn the card sideways and announce insurance while running your hand under the insurance line. Once all decisions have been made, then take the cards and put them in the contraption with the lower left-hand corner going into the slot. If the mirror shows a white space, then you do not have a blackjack. If the space is filled, then you do have a blackjack. Because every casino is different, it is a good idea to go to the casino you want to apply at and watch them to see how they check their 10 and ace up card. That way when you're auditioning, you won't stumble if you get a 10 or ace up card.